Something strange is going on. The past 2 months, I have been woken up at 3 a.m. by different things. First, there was 3 knocks at the door with no one there, and that happened several nights. That's actually terrifying. Then I was woken up a few nights ago by a doorbell just ringing once. Again, about 3 a.m. and no one there. Last night at exactly 3:33 a.m., I got a phone call. I called it right back. Why would you call it back? And it was an out of state business that is not open on the weekends. I tried calling it back several times after that, and the calls won't even go through. And then I take walks to nearby stores most nights. The sidewalk has huge lights all along the way to the store. For the last 3 times I walked there, every time I walked under the lights, they turned off. As soon as I passed them, they turned on. Same thing on the way back. Now the crazy part. I've never been able to wear a watch. Every time I put it on, it stops working. Whether it's battery operated or wind up, I take it off and then it starts working again. I need a truckload of sage. Someone said my mom couldn't wear a watch either. They always stopped. Someone said the watch thing is wild. That's some serious electromagnetic interference you got going on. I skip the sage and go straight for a full cleansing, to be honest. This isn't just normal paranormal stuff. Someone said, I don't mean to alarm you, but I worked night shifts 2:30 to 12:30 at night. There were only two of us. My coworker dropped me off. The street lights at the corner of my street will switch off as we passed it. On again after we passed. Like it happened for a few months. No, don't say that. For a few months, and it stopped after my coworker passed away in a car accident. This was 6 or 7 years ago. I still hate that street light. Wait, what? I got little goosebumps. That's not cool. Oh, heck no. Someone said that sounds wild. I have been awoken by a knock and sound before, even an extremely loud woman's scream, but I'm sure it was just a dream. There's an old lady that haunts my house. When I first saw her, this was in my roommate's plant. Wait, what? When I first saw her was in my roommate's plant, a fern. Hmm. She didn't seem like she had any bad intent. It more felt like she just wanted me to know that she was there. A couple of months later, my best friend who can see spirits asked me if I knew there was an old lady haunting this place. I told her it made me feel like I was finally being listened to have someone verify it. My problem is now that she won't even ever show herself to anyone else in the house. I'll see glimpses of figures walking around the room. While I know who it is still freaks me out. Someone said if you're used to her, you might as well just deal with her. I would say good morning or whatever and just maybe acknowledge her when she shows herself. But well, I don't know. What if she says good morning back? I don't know. Partner woke up screaming and I saw a black figure floating away from his side of the bed. Hello. My question is, could I have imagined what I just saw? Because it was dark. My partner started screaming and shaking in his sleep. It scared me though. And I woke up and I tapped him to wake him up. But through sleepy eyes, I saw a black, shadowy figure floating over our bed in the direction of the door. A couple years ago, he had a similar reaction while sleeping. And when he woke up, he saw a black figure coming towards him, but then we thought that was sleep paralysis. But now, because I saw it and he doesn't remember screaming at night, I am wondering, did I dream it? Or could it be something else? Thanks in advance. Someone said my first partner, I saved up money to travel around Europe for a holiday together. And one of the places was Venice. While sleeping, I had a really vivid dream that I was talking to a woman with a long blonde hair, slightly curled, wearing what looked to be a nightgown. She and I were having an interesting conversation as I directly remember back and forth, although sadly I don't remember this subject matter. I was suddenly woken up the sound of someone gasping for air. It was my partner, sleeping to the right of me. The sound was so sharp, I was terrified. He was choking. I rubbed his shoulders lightly and called his name to see if he was responsive, or to try and wake him from whatever was going on. I'm like kind of freaking out, sorry. His eyes were already wide open and slid to meet mine in absolute terror. You spoke to her? It came out like an accusation. Who? The woman. You were talking to her. I was in shock. Without mentioning my dream, I asked her to describe her. He proceeded to describe the woman I was speaking with: long, curled, blonde hair and a nightgown. He said she had been speaking with me, then turned to him menacingly. The last thing he saw before I shook his shoulders was her choking him, wrapping his fingers wrapping around his, I can't even, oh my gosh, fingers wrapped tightly around his neck. Oh gosh. By this point, I was terrified and shaking, and yes, I had been talking with this woman in my dream. I described her, and my partner began to sob. Big, heavy, body-wrenching sobs. Oh my gosh, I literally am so freaked out right now. He got out of bed and hopped in the shower, crying and staring into space. And I sat in the bathroom with him, too scared to be in the bedroom by myself. That night, neither myself or my partner were able to truly relax enough for sleep. We dozed on and off, our heart pounding, terrified that somehow the lady would reach us again. She didn't. But I've never forgotten that night, and neither has my ex-partner. We could not explain away as a night terror or sleep paralysis, as we had both seen the same entity. Um, Someone else said, when I was 17, my door was open, and I woke up to a black shadow in the shape of a human at the foot of my bed, staring, then slowly turned and floated out. I had no reaction. I was confused, though. Never went back to sleep, so I know this wasn't a dream. Okay, let's get off that one, because I'm getting spooked. The woman in the hallway. I am a 25-year-old female, and I remember the first time I saw the paranormal. When I was 8 years old, my family moved to North Dakota. We were a big family, 5 kids, and the duplex we moved into was old, cramped, and arranged in a way that never quite felt right. My brother had his own room, my parents had theirs, and my 3 sisters shared a room, and I ended up in the storage room in the back of the house. It doubled as a laundry room, and my little bed sat tucked under the stairs like something out of a strange, forgotten corner of the house. Most nights, after everyone fell asleep, I would sneak out of the living room to watch South Park. I wasn't allowed to watch it, but my older brother had shown it to me once, and I was hooked. The path from the room to the living room was long and dark, out from under the stairs, through the kitchen into the hallway, where the boarded up upstairs door loomed above the staircase. All the bedrooms, the bathroom, the front door, and the huge coat closet watched over the hallway like silent witnesses. One night, I stepped out into the kitchen, and the air changed. It wasn't cold, it felt aware, heavy, like something was waiting. I froze, halfway down the hallway. The hairs on my arms stood up before I even understood why. Then I felt eyes on me. Slowly, I turned my head towards my sister's room, and she was standing there. A woman with bright red hair and long white nightgown, her body glowing faintly translucent, as if she was lit from the inside. She didn't move, she didn't speak, she just stared at me with an expression I still can't describe. Empty but focused, like she was studying me. I couldn't scream, I couldn't run, I couldn't even breathe. I stood there, for what felt like forever, trapped in her gaze. Then, without a sound, she looked away, turned, and walked straight into my sister's room. That broke whatever spell I was under. I bolted back into my little room under the stairs, dove under the covers, and didn't come out until morning. When the sun finally came up, I found my mom in the kitchen getting everyone ready for school. I pulled her aside and told her what I'd seen. As I described the woman, the red hair, the white gown, my mom's face drained of color. She didn't interrupt. She didn't even blink. When I finished, she stared at me, terrified. I asked her, "What's wrong?" Her voice shook, and she finally answered, "Your sister saw." Wait, what? Your sister said she saw the same woman last night in her room, taped to the wall. Oh my gosh. That was the moment everything changed for me. My parents had always believed in the supernatural. They talked about voices, footsteps, and doorbells ringing. When no one was there, I never believed them. Not until last night, not until her. Someone said that is really creepy.